Yeah, how long ago?
It's a BYOE party. It's like,
yeah, that's true.
Just bring it on in.
Yeah.
Bring everything. Bring everything.
Bring everything.
Yeah, those are the
that's
Revolution tour parties that we do.
Get up on your mic there,
yeah, we do the Revolution tour parties. We try to do 1 or 2 a year, and it's basically promoting local music. So all those bands that were there were local at the time, and this was an idea that I had, and I was just able to get other people to collaborate with me.
And he did.
It was awesome because I actually paid for the insurance so that we could bring your own beer and you can drink, and so that kind of made it a little bit less expensive to going to a show because you could just buy your own beer and bring it with you. And then you're done.
You're gonna spend $15 in beer at the bar.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so you're already saving money. And this show, I really appreciate it. Amy came out and took some really, really good pictures of all the bands, and it was just absolutely beautiful and just a beautiful experience. And we hope to have another one
changed
next year.
That experience changed because I saw people there that night I've not seen before or since, but also people that I have made lasting relationships with, like Kedri and Kyle, and those guys I've known for a really long time. I love Thick as Thieves.
Yes.
I would kill or die to have them on the show.
Oh yeah.
And that night
We've done some shows with them.
I shot my first video ever. And on my brand new camera, and they did Downtown and they dedicated it to me, and I thought it was so cool because I mean this whole scene was like there were so many people of every different kind and important people, and yet that's the kind of guys they are. They recognize that I made an effort to come all the way out to this crazy place that I had no idea where I was going.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest vibe ever, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely underground.
Very cool. How long ago, roughly?
Well, the first one was like 2.5 years.
Okay,
We've had
back,
3 or 4, 3 of them. Yeah, and we're gonna have another one very soon.
Very cool.
And how many acts did you have that night? You had 4 or 5?
See, I get in trouble for that because I push the limit. I like to have acts be back to back because I want to get as many bands exposed as possible. It is a challenge, but that night we did have 4 acts.
Did you show up on time for that?
Oh,
no, he was the last.
Dude, I'm like,
I
pulled so many different directions when I'm there.
I have to know who the band was that had the horn player from the Sun Messengers.
Okay, that's my band, Lucky Brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's my brother-in-law.
You guys were insane.
John Douglas is my brother-in-law.
And Renee was singing with you.
Yeah, Renee was singing.
Oh, gosh.
That was a great set.
Yeah,
really was.
I have video of that too that you have not seen.
I would love to see
that.
that.
A special lineup too.
Yeah, that was actually the first time playing a show with my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
By the way.
It was incredible.
Who'd you have on drums that night too?
Probably. I think it might have been Mello.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
It was Mello.
Yeah, Mello, King Mellow Man.
How could you possibly remember that? It sounds like you guys play in a lot of different with a lot of different people.
I play with different musicians, and so
wow, to remember that a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's we really we just kind of go with the flow, and most people are in multiple bands, so it's really an issue of availability and what we're doing at that time. So
and really I gotta imagine that having this many guys in a band, it's tough to get you all together for
Oh yeah.
And you do a lot of stuff remotely, and then when you can get together, you do.
We try as a whole try to get together at least once a week. Sometimes that is hard with this many guys, but if you can get together with 2 or 3 of you and work on certain parts, whether it be a melody or maybe just the bass and drum section, or whatever it may be, to get yourself prepared for the full
tight, you guys.
For the full group,
Yeah, and even also it's kind of a new thing for me. It's the most players, that we've had in Halfway There. But I feel like even sometimes you need to do that to just work on something with somebody one-on-one. You know what I mean? Because you don't always want to take that time and practice, because it's like. We gotta.
The time is precious.
So.
So you mean when I was sleeping during rehearsal, when my bandmates were writing a song, I could have been somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it makes sense.
And it really drives especially like there's been different times where Dave, will just come up to me with like a bass line, something that he's been working on, and all of a sudden that becomes a song. You know what I mean? So those are like kind of special moments sometimes when you get together with just one or two guys. But obviously we like to all play together.
That's really cool. Do you guys live near each other or not necessarily?
Some
kind of.
Yeah.
It's not different states.
No.
My loft is right across the street from the Magnetic, and most of the time we practice there.
The Magnetic.
Yeah, so downtown Pontiac, right next to the Crowfoot. And we're playing at the Crowfoot. I don't know if you mentioned that.
No, I haven't.
We haven't gotten that far.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Aaron. You're usually behind. Give us a break.
Yes. That is our next show. We're playing November 28th at the Crowfoot in the Pike Room. And I'm really excited about the lineup. We've played with some of the bands before. Leaving Lifted is another really cool reggae band called Marvin.
And the Chasers.
And the Chasers. We don't know who the Chasers are yet, but we're ready to learn.
Well, you better be ready with the Chasers.
Yeah. So, but we played there last year. It was a really successful show. I mean, the Crowfoot itself, if you guys have never been there before, I recommend it. Go check it out. The sound is
people don't realize how small it is too.
Yeah,
it's
very intimate show. Yeah.
Great sound.
Yeah. So, Aaron and I used to live too above him at that. That's how we met. We should tell that story since we're on the radio.
It's a community of people in that law.
It's funny that you guys were talking about Kedry and stuff too, because at that time I had known Kedry before, but he used to play downstairs because Sal is Aaron's roommate. You know Sal. He plays the congas and guitars, Sun Lab, everything, but. So halfway there, was practicing upstairs, and all of a sudden these guys just come up and they're like, "Yo, what's up? You guys play reggae?" And we're like, "Yeah, okay, cool." Because you don't always get that in Michigan, like we were talking about outside. You know what I mean? It was like really like one of those kind of moments. You know what I mean? Where, and Aaron was like, "Hey, well, I'm gonna like bring my keyboard up," and we ended up. I mean, obviously, it was just like, "Well, please, like, come play with us." If you've seen him play, he's.
I was shocked that he had an American accent after seeing him.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I'm not trying to burp.
But it was the whole vibe. It was all encompassing, and I don't want to overstep Jill, but I have some reggae questions that I want to ask, because I do have some background and love for the reggae culture, and like I've been listening to Third World for over 20 years.
Awesome.
And I went to Jamaica at one point, and my only desire when I was there was to see a live act. And the manager of the villa I was staying at said, "That's not possible." And I said, "What do you mean that's not possible?" He says, "Our economy is so bad that anyone that's talented enough is playing on a cruise ship."
Wow.
And it was actually very true. He said, "There is one place I can take you, but my wife and I have to take you because it's not safe."
You're like,
and it was in the barrio, and it was all hookers and drug dealers, and the opening act was, I swear to God, a 90-year-old contortionist.
Wow.
And the music was so loud you could barely tell it was reggae. It was so loud. So it was kind of a disappointment, but I'm glad to know at least the guys are getting out and making money for music, because the economy there is horrible.
Yeah.
I think this might be a global thing.
I
just got back from California, and that's all I wanted to do was see like a live show. And I was in San Francisco for a little bit, and I did end up seeing some bands, but they weren't ready. I was just like, wow, like I'm not trying to toot our horn, but like we're like way better. Like I was just surprised. And so it seems like music.
We have more time to work hard.
Yeah, music is. I think it's taking a hit.
Yeah, you could say economy, but it's also even just like the bars. A lot of bars used to have house sound. That's like a thing. And even just the bar culture, as much as however you feel about the smoking. I went to bars before that happened, so I used to know. And you just go in a bar and there's a bunch of people. So that ends up feeding off, because that's how, we're making our money secondhand like that, But I still think you know, what you're seeing, especially with the jam scene, is, you know, if you can get to the point where, you know, you're playing to the right group of people, you know, through festivals or whatever it is, you know, I think that's the culture of things now. You have to be like self-reliant with your band, you know. You don't have a huge, even if you, for a label, they may not be punching you much money, you know.
That's absolutely true. I actually spent some time out in California in August in San Francisco and in LA, and went out to
That's exactly where I went.
to the Lucky Strike to see some music and talk to some people about music and what's going on there, if it's the same here, and the whole vibe is different there. The people in the creative and in the arts all seem to be very supportive of one another, and it just seemed very like a big hug, you know. And maybe because it was like palm trees.
That's what these people are
exactly. Like. And I'm saying, I know there's bad and good everywhere. I understand that duality of things. However, I find that people here, there's so many bands, which I love. I love that every kid for the past 20 years is now a musician, and I love that. But there's not a lot of room to advance these up-and-comers, and I'm sure I'm very
it's watering
supportive.
down the talent. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, and kids should all try music. Exactly. But you've got that right. And then what I don't like is to go out and see a band where I'm like, I mean, I hate to say it, but. And I'm not the biggest judge. I'm not the judge. I don't want to be, because then I feel bad, like, for judging. But if I didn't like it, maybe somebody did, but I didn't think it was that great. So you have to wonder who's putting them out there, and that's stopping the serious musicians who are really wanting to get out there, have a fan base, working hard, and can bring in. I think for the venues, it's bodies in the door. Right? Obviously, money in their pocket. That kind of keeps things moving. And I'm not one. I'll call out stuff. I think there's something or big wrongdoing. But man, it's just so. That's a whole topic that we don't even.